death is the only thing there is in life. For ages, people have been attempting to accept this fact, which could be why many believe in an afterlife. From ancient communities to the contemporary Western world, people have significant customs and convictions related to death. Many religions offer a unique perspective on the afterlife. The major religions, despite the differences in beliefs, agree on one fundamental principle. Humans are eternal beings whose spirits originate from a divine realm and may eventually return there.
If the greatest thing in all of life, here or hereafter, is the experience of the presence of God, to know that the moment that you die, immediately you are in the presence of Christ, there's no greater comfort than that.
Christians believe that death is not the end of our existence. They believe that everyone who lives will meet God. There will be a day of judgment when all humanity will come into God's presence. In the Christian faith, heaven is a place or state of mind associated with God and the afterlife. Meanwhile, hell is the opposite of heaven. It is eternity in the absence of God. In Islam, the concept of life after death is called akhirah. After a person dies, their soul enters the state of waiting, also known as barzakh, until the day of judgment. According to the Quran, people who perform several good deeds in the course of their life enter Jannah. There is no pain, sickness, or sadness in its place. Those who perform bad deeds in life enter Jahannam. The concept of life after death between Buddhism and Hinduism is similar. There is a cycle of death and rebirth called samsara.
If you're trapped in the cycles of time, we say you're in samsara. Because life becomes cyclical and it keeps repeating. Psychologically, physiologically definitely there are cycles.
In Hinduism, when a person dies, their soul or Atman is reborn in a different body, while in Buddhism, the soul is believed to reborn in a new life form. According to both religions, humans are reborn countless times until they achieve enlightenment or moksha in Hinduism or nirvana in Buddhism. The attainment of moksha or nirvana is believed to be the highest goal of human life.
I used to be a very typical American Christian. I went to Sunday school when I was a kid. I was confirmed in the church when I was in middle school. And I bought into the idea that you had to choose between science and spirituality. But that all changed one day in 1999 when I died. And yes, I literally mean died. I spent 30 minutes under 8 to 10 feet of water without oxygen at the base of this waterfall. And while I was underwater and dying, I asked that God's will be done.
Near-death experiences, or NDAs, were popularized by the publication of Raymond Moody's Life After Life in 1975.
And that big, that great book, The Republics, come right down at the end. It culminates in this rather startling near-death experience.
NDA is a phenomenon where a person comes very close to dying and has memories of a spiritual experience during the time when death was near. There is a core experience which unfolds in a characteristic pattern. First, an experience of peace, well-being, and absence of pain. Second, a sense of detachment from physical body, progressing to an out-of-body experience. Third, entering darkness, a tunnel experience with panoramic memory and predominantly positive effect. Fourth, an experience of light, which is bright, warm, and attractive.
Most near-death experiencers are pretty much the same around the world and through the centuries.
However, there is no consensus among scientists on what causes NDAs or what they reveal about the nature of consciousness and the afterlife. Some researchers propose that NDAs can be explained by natural phenomena such as brain activity, oxygen deprivation, or REM sleep intrusion. Others suggest that NDAs are proof of conscious experience after death. but there is no evidence to support this claim.
No evidence.
So in my first year of college at UVA studying philosophy, I immediately fell in with the philosophy department. And just within the first few days of college, reading Plato's Republic.
Plato and Aristotle, the two most influential philosophers, had different views on the immortality of the soul. Plato believed that the soul is immortal and eternal, and that it is the source of an individual's consciousness and agency. According to Plato, the soul is separate from the body, and it is able to access the forms after death, which allows it to continue on the afterlife. Aristotle, on the other hand, believed that the soul is not immortal, but rather that it is a part of body and dies with it. He believed that the soul is the forms of the body and that it is responsible for the body's functions.
I think a reason many people find near-death experiences interesting is because they hold out the promise that will explain to us what the soul is, whether there is an afterlife after our bodies decompose. But I think the important part of near-death experiences is what they tell us about this life we're in now.